Class, please everyone sit down and listen for our next lesson. Um, Today we will be looking at what is a fairy tale. Does anyone know what a fairy tale is or any fairy tale characters? Yes, Emma. That's right. Dogs who talk. Do you know any dogs that talk? From the Pets movie, you are very right. Now, does anyone else know any other fairy tale examples of people or what a fairy tale is? A prince. Now, what is your favorite movie with a prince? Cinderella. And you love the prince in that movie? What about you, Corey? What is your favorite thing about fairy tales? You like dragons. Oh, that is very interesting. And what about you, Marie? What is your favorite thing about fairy tales? That is also a good one. You like the fairy godmother because she does things that you wouldn't expect. Okay, that is wonderful. So now I am going to bring up some cards, and please, if anyone can raise their hand and be called on to let me know if this is something that can be real or if it is only in fairy tale stories. The first one. Yes, Johnny. That's right, that's a fairy godmother. Now, do you think it's only in fairy tales or would you see them in real life as well? Yes, that is a fairy tale. Yes, you can definitely have a godmother, but not a fairy godmother. Okay, what about this one? What story is that from? The Three Little Pigs. And do you know Three Little Pigs? What do you think that is? Do you think it is a fairy tale or would you say that is real? Yes, that is right, Melissa. That is a fairy tale. Good job. And the next, what movie is this from? Yes, Emma. That is right. That movie is from Cinderella. Now, what's happening in this, Emma? A pumpkin is turning into a carriage. Now, do you think that's real or do you think that only happens in fairy tales? Very good. It happens only in fairy tales. Now, we read this book in the beginning of the year. It was about penguins. Are penguins real or are they a fairy tale character? Yes, penguins are real, but in this book, the penguins spoke, yes. So that means that in the book it was fairy tale, but in real life, penguins do exist. Very good. Now, what about this picture? This is from what story? Does anyone know? Little Red Riding Hood, yes. Okay, Corey, what do you believe is to be fairy tale or real? That is correct. It is a fairy tale. You will not find a wolf hiding in anyone's bed. I don't think they'll be in Grandma's outfit. Now, what about this? Do you remember me reading you this story? It's about a caterpillar that just ate and ate and ate. That is right, Emma, again. Now, caterpillars are real. And what do they turn into? Yes, they turn into butterflies. Good job, Emma. Okay. Now, I don't know if we have read this story yet, but what do you think this little guy is down here? What do you think he is? Do you think any of this is real? No, that's a fairy tale. Do you know what he is? Johnny? Yes, he's scary looking. He's a troll. And trolls are part of fairy tale stories. Now, Have any of you gone and seen this movie in the theater with your parents? Yes, that is Dumbo. Dumbo is a very, very fun story and very good story. Is it real, or would you call it part of a fairy tale? No, the animal does not speak, so what about, but can an elephant fly using their ears? That's right. Good job, Melissa. That is a fairy tale. Okay, now this story. What is that big thing coming down the stalk? Have any of you read The Giant or The Beanstalk with the Giant? Yes. Tommy, what do you think? Melissa, please stop talking while Tommy is answering. Thank you. That is very good. Yes, that is a giant. And yes, even though some people can look like giants and be taller, they are part of a fairy tale. And now here we go. What do you think this is? Yes, that's Snow White and the Prince. Now, what do you believe is a prince? Johnny, I believe you said this in the beginning. Yes, princes are fairy tales. That is a wonderful job. You guys did very well. Now, we are going to look at things you want to know about fairy tales. But first, I want to know what you do know. What do you know about fairy tales? What do most fairy tales begin with? They begin with once upon a time. Yes, that is very good. So once upon a time. And let's see, what else? Do you believe that when animals talk, that they're fairy tale or real? Yes, they're definitely part of a fairy tale. And what else? You guys already said fairy godmother, which we know that that is one. So if a prince is a part of a fairy tale, do you believe that a princess can also be? Yes, a princess is part of fairy tales. And there's the prince. Let's see. Ooh. Now, what about the fairy godmother? What do they do? It's magical. Everything is magic. She swipes her wand and bibbidi-bobbidi-boo. And dragons. None of the examples before about dragons, but do we know dragons are real or fake? As in fake, I mean part of a fairy tale. Do you know any stories where there's a dragon in the fairy tale? No? Well, maybe we'll have to read one next week. Oh, fairy tales are part of this fantasy world where sometimes good things happen. A lot of times the bad person, who we call a villain, is the one who is defeated by the prince or the princess. And those are also two words to know about fairy tales. As we saw in one of the little examples in the beginning, a giant is definitely part of a fairy tale, especially one that can go up and down a beanstalk. And lastly, we have troll. A troll is definitely part of a fairy tale. So those are things that you all know and thought of while we were going through the first part of our lesson plan. Now, what is it that you want to know? What do you want to know about fairy tales? What are some books that you might have, your parents might have read, or you read, or a story? So you want to know if Rapunzel's hair is fairy tale or real. Okay, that is wonderful. Well, what do you think? Do you think someone can have that long of hair? They definitely could. That is right, Emma. They could have that much hair. But do you ever think someone would grow it that much? All right, well, maybe. You never know. How about you, Corey? What are you thinking? what do you want to know about fairy tales? You want to know if the ugly duckling story is a fairy tale or real? That is very, very good question. Well, ducks are real. And in the story, were the ducks speaking, or was there no quotations when the duck was during the story? There wasn't. Okay, so there was only narration. Well, that story could be real, but do you think that a little duck would go away and then find its mommy? Okay, maybe that definitely could happen. You are right. Okay, we are going to read this book. And we are going to read Goldilocks and the Three Bears. And after we read this, we can then go through what you have learned from this book about what else could be a fairy tale. And how this book Goldilocks was a little girl who was not supposed to go through the woods. Her mother wanted her to go to the store for her, and she said, "Please go the long way, do not cut through the woods." Goldilocks did not listen to her mother, and instead she did cut through the woods, and she became very curious when she came upon this house. She walked into the house and noticed that it was unlocked and walked right in, and when she got in, she saw that there was no one home. When she went to the table, she saw the three different porridges. There was a big bowl, a medium bowl, and a small bowl. The big bowl was too hot. The medium bowl was too cold. She sat down and ate the little bowl because it was just right. Then Goldilocks said that she was tired from her walk through the woods, so she wanted to sit down and relax. She tried there were three chair sizes. There was a big chair, which was too hard. She fell right off. A medium chair, that was just too soft. And then she found the little chair, and it was just right. Not too hard, not too soft. She rocked it and rocked it and rocked it. But eventually it fell apart because she was a little too big for it. Next, Goldilocks yawned and realized that she was getting very tired. So she went upstairs to see if there were beds. She went on one bed and realized that the bed was much too high for her. The medium-sized bed was much too low for her. She then found the small bed, and it was just her size, just right for her. Then all of a sudden, three bears who owned the house came home. They walked into the house, and they noticed all the porridge all over the place because Goldilocks had just been there. They walked into their living room and noticed that their chairs were sat in, and Little Bear noticed that his chair was broken, and they said, "What's going on?" Finally, the three bears went upstairs on tiptoe, not knowing what they would discover. At first, everything seemed fine, but then Papa Bear laid down on his bed, and he said, "Somebody's been laying on my bed." Mama Bear then went and laid in her bed, and she said, "Someone's been laying in my bed." And then Baby Bear said, "Somebody has been laying in my bed, and he's still there." The bears went, and they saw Goldilocks in Baby Bear's bed, she got so worried and scared that she ran and she jumped out the window and then ran away. And the little bears never saw Goldilocks again. Okay, from that, what do you believe you learned from this story? It can be something that we might have already discussed, but I want to know what you have learned about fairy tales from this story and from the lesson so far. Um, would you call this story a fairy tale? Yes, Corey. Yes, that is right. This is a fairy tale. And why do you think it's a fairy tale? You don't think bears can speak? No, I don't think they can speak either. You are right. Bears do not speak. And what about Goldilocks going through the woods? Do you think that is something that... What's another story that you saw children go through the woods and something bad might have happened that might have been a fairy tale? Yes, Little Red Riding Hood, exactly. Yes, perfect. And what else do you think? Do you think a little girl would just go into a house that they don't know of? Yes, even though a lot of these things in this story seem like they could happen in real life, yes, it would be a fairy tale because it is fantasy. A little girl would not speak to a bear. A bear would not, I don't even believe they'd be able to hold spoons to eat from a bowl. I don't know if they'd be able to sit in a chair, but this story is definitely a fairy tale. Okay, now I would like you all to please get in pairs together so that you can start your drawings. What you are going to do is each draw a picture from Goldilocks and the Three Bears. I know I showed you some of the pictures, but I want you to think back and try and remember a scene from the book that you believe would be considered fairy tale. You can add words. I would like you to write a couple sentences if you can regarding it. I am going to be walking around and monitoring you guys as you are working. I want you to make your own photos and independently. And then at the end, I would like you to work together as a team and explain why you believe that this is a fairy tale to the rest of the class. If anyone is having trouble, or if anyone would like to, if anyone's having trouble, please let me know, as I would like to help you. If you need me to go through the story again for any of you, I would be happy to quickly go through it so that you can kind of get a mindset. I know some students do have some trouble focusing, which is fine. I would be happy to go through the book again with you. If you feel like you would like to add a little paragraph or a summary of what your drawing means, I would be happy to look through that as well and see that. But just know that at the end, we're all going to have a conversation. We're all going to have a conversation at the end to look at the findings of your drawings, and you'll have a chance to stand up with your partner that you were drawing the image with and be able to explain why it is a fairy tale and what you liked about that portion of the story. So I will be walking around and helping in any way that I can. And if you have any questions, please let me know. All of the materials that you need, the construction paper, the markers, colored pencils, crayons, they're already on the table in front of the room. So whatever you feel that you need or would like to use, please come up and get it. I look forward to seeing all of your drawings.